Howdy, E.H. Howard here. Welcome to the Sell the Experience units on Patreon. Today we're talking about expectations as part of the bonus content that goes along with the demographics unit. And if you're a super fan, there's even more information in the supplemental content, a little bit more work, a little bit deeper understanding. And in this video, we're just going to kind of set the stage, the basic framework around consumer expectations, understanding what they are, why they have them, and what they are, so that we can do the deeper work in the supplemental content. All right, so let's kind of get into it. So everyone has expectations, all right? It's part of human nature. We have an expectation of things. And there's a very clinical thing about, we are a belief based on a series of events that have in the past proven true. What I'm talking about is really simple in this, in that, and you've come across it a lot in your business, but every interaction with a consumer is rooted at some point in an expectation. Okay, there's at least one expectation there. Every interaction, any interaction, all right? And what I'm talking about is a consumer interfaces with you. That's probably just the best word I can use. Interfaces with you. Maybe they call you, maybe they come into your location, whatever it might be. They get in contact with you, your business. And for whatever reason, we have these ideas of how things are supposed to play out. And I see this happen all the time is consumer A calls up business Z, and consumer A has this expectation in their mind that, oh, well, I call up, they're going to tell me they have it, they're going to hold it for me, and then I can sashay my way down there and pick it up later today, and boom, my life is easy. And in some cases, that could be what plays out. In some cases, that could be the scenario. However, 9 times out of 10, there's always some sort of bump in the road. The business doesn't have what you need or want or desire at the moment. They're all out of it. They're waiting for a shipment to come in. The business doesn't offer that service, that product, that whatever it is. They don't offer that. It's part of their industry that they're in, but it's not part of their business. We all have nuances and subtleties in our businesses. It comes from past experiences with other businesses. They've maybe gone to, a really good example here, a really, really good example would be a dry cleaner. And so you go to the dry cleaner. We've all gone to dry cleaners since, probably in our 20s, late teens, early 20s. You've changed dry cleaners, and for most cases, they're probably okay, right? There's not a lot of, in your mind, there's not a lot of difference between dry cleaner A and dry cleaner B, okay? There is, but in your mind, there isn't. So for whatever reason, you need to switch dry cleaners. You move to a new town, the dry cleaner closed, whatever. You need to find a new dry cleaner. So because you've had good experiences with other dry cleaners, it is your expectation that those things would continue with this new dry cleaner, okay? Now, there's a couple of reasons that it might not, all right? The number one reason is that business doesn't offer it, okay? Maybe you wanted a special service and they didn't offer it, they don't do it, what have you. The clue to that is what their expectation is you may hear something like, well, every other dry cleaner I've ever worked with or ever went to did it. That's not fair to anybody. So we'll just put that on the side, but that's your clue. That's your clue that you know that that's what the expectation is. The expectation may come from, it was a referral. Somebody told them, oh, I went to dry cleaner, ABC, and I had a really great experience with them. They were really awesome. They really got out the stain that I had in my pants. probably not the best analogy, but the stain on the shirt that I had, and they got rid of it, and it looked like brand new. Now, the expectation from that referral is that the consumer is going to go into the store, go into the dry cleaner, and have the exact same experience as the person that referred to them. And they're not going to have the exact same. They may have a similar one. They will have a positive experience, but they're not going to have the exact same experience because nothing is exactly the same, okay? The other one is that they may misunderstand, what your business, what you do, So maybe you do a specific type of dry cleaning and they want a different kind. Maybe you're only chemical free and they want a chemical based solvent to clean the stain off of the shirt. They may have seen that or misread your website. They may not have understood some of your promotional material. They may have misunderstood when they called. This one's a 50-50 because you set the expectations sometimes that a consumer has for you. Once you engage with that consumer, you set the expectations that consumer has. So if a consumer has an expectation after your initial contact, it's because you've set it. And we can confuse people when we talk to them. So maybe we said something, we used a industry phrase that they weren't familiar with, and that confused them, or we used a phrase and they thought it meant something different, and so they came in thinking that what they were getting was this, and it was really the opposite thing, okay? We need to own that we can sometimes be confusing and ambiguous and non-specific sometimes in our marketing and our messaging, and there's a whole reason for that. It's the selling to everyone philosophy and watering down your message and distilling down your message. So if you want to learn more about that, check out the everyone video. Okay, so we can see how expectations come from a number of different sources. They can come from referral, they can come from our website, they can come from a number of different ways and ideas. And again, you set the expectations of your business once you first have that engagement with a consumer. So if a consumer calls you out of the blue on the phone and they don't know what's happening on the other end of the phone, maybe somebody just knocked something over and I don't know, there's something spilling all over the place and you're kind of short and abrupt on the phone. Maybe there was an angry customer that just left when the phone rang and you're still trying to process it. Whatever happens, that from that initial reaction or initial contact sets the stage. So say somebody spilled something and there's like some sort of bleach or something all over the floor. You call up and the person's like really short and abrupt with you and like, fine, just bring it in, okay, bye, guy, click. That in your mind sets an expectation of what it's going to be like to work with that business. That's going to set the stage of what the experience is that they think they are going to have with your business, okay? And that's what I mean by you set the experience. And I know it's hard. It's very hard sometimes to, in the middle of something melting down or happening in the middle of the business, to sort of be like, okay, yeah, we can, we can, that's fine. we got this. I can put on a happy face. I can answer the phone like nothing's going to happen. The analogy I always use in that scenario is, especially when we're kind of in that position, is, when I was a kid, and I'm sure we've all been there, our mothers would yell and scream at us, you kids, and as soon as the phone rang, she could pick it up and go from like yelling and screaming to like, hello, hi, yes. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how, but she went from screaming at the kids to calm, down-to-earth receptionist in like a fraction of a second. And that's what we all need to practice. We all need to know that when we pick up the phone, no matter what's going on in the back, we need to really shine. We need to push aside everything and be like, hey, hi, welcome, thank you for calling. They need to become the most important thing in your life. Now, will every consumer that calls you convert over? No. That's never going to happen. However, you want to set the stage for the positive experience, because if you don't, maybe they come in after that phone call that I don't want to say aggressive. That's the wrong word, aggressive. After that inauthentic phone call where you were not yourself, you didn't give them the experience that you would normally give somebody if there wasn't chemicals all over the floor. When they come in, that is going to be in the back of their mind. And now you are unknowingly going to have to subvert that expectation. Okay, you're going to have to challenge it, and you're going to have to break it down, and you're going to have to replace their inaccurate, somewhat negative experience or expectation with a positive expectation to go forward. Because at that point, if they don't have a good experience with you, if they don't have their expectations changed or replaced, then that is going to become even more ingrained and even more specific. Like, I'm not going to go back to this place because. So every interaction, every follow-up engagement either reinforces or subverts the expectations that they have. And so the more you have a negative experience with them, the more that they have issues and problems, the more that they say, I called them on the phone, they were really short and abrupt. I went into the business, they were like, really, they brushed me off, they didn't care. If they have, I would say 3, for me, if I go to a business 3 times and I have 3 bad experiences, that's going to solidify my expectation like granite that this business just doesn't care for whatever reason. Okay? And that's fine. I may not go back there, and that's fine. That's perfectly well acceptable. However, I may end up telling all of my friends, hey, don't go there. So you can kind of start to see how expectations and experience, and the experience that you offer and the experience that you give to people give you the consumers that you have. All right. So if you have a lot of problem consumers, a lot of problem child type of consumers, people that are always driving you crazy, that seem, they call you up for quotes just because they're bidding on stuff, like they don't pay their bills, whatever it is. Maybe they come into the store and every time they're like, I don't know why I come here with you people, etc., etc. It's because they have an expectation of how things are going to play out that is so far removed from the experience that you offer as to be almost a completely different business. All right. And that's where the consumer expectations come in, is that they are taking their past experiences, what they know of your industry, what they know of other businesses in your industry, the experiences that those businesses offer them, and they are overlaying them onto their expectations and assuming that you are going to act and perform and give them exactly the same thing. That's not fair to you, that's not fair to them, that's not fair to the other businesses. Now, a caveat here is, if you've been a client of a small home or solopreneur business for a while, and I'm talking again, small businesses, maybe 25 people or less, home businesses, it's like maybe you and a partner, solopreneur, it's just you. As a consumer, when I work or engage with those businesses, it's a first name basis situation. I can call up and I can be like, hey Annie, it's EH. I need to come in for an oil change, but I'm going away on a trip on Friday, and can I come in like this afternoon? And 9 times out of 10, because you've worked with that consumer for a while, they know you're on a first name basis, you're a super fan, they're a super fan, even though that they are booked, maybe, they will fit you in. Now, we all do this to our consumers. We all treat them like royalty, because of the fact that we value relationships, and because of the fact that we are engaged in our consumers, we treat them like royalty. And that's not fair, because we're giving them preferential treatment that they can't get other places, that other consumers may or may not be getting in our business. And so their expectation may be they are expecting Cadillac and champagne service, and you're really just giving them Ford, like, because that's who you are. You don't know them, you don't know anything about them, they don't know you. There was years of building a relationship with this person that you're starting back at zero. So those things happen as well as far as expectations. And again, it's not fair of the consumer to overlay those things on your business. Your business needs to stand on its own, to be its own thing, to be appreciated and valued for what it does, not what other businesses do and comparing you with them. Okay? Again, one last thing, we're going to talk about this a lot in the setting expectations video. But in the first unit, you did a lot of looking at who you are as a business, the experience that you offer. We talk about it all the time. You're always kind of going back and looking at it. You're always kind of assessing it, who you are as a business and the experience that you offer. And as we start to talk more about consumers and more about specifically consumers and the consumers that you get and how we're selling that experience, you can see how we're setting and subverting expectations, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the subverting expectations video. But everything is interconnected, okay? So the way that you talk about your experience, the experience that you offer, who you talk to about it, and the expectations that they have basically is a formula to give you the kind of consumer that you're going to get. Is it someone that is going to be a problem child? Is it going to be someone that's going to be a super fan? Is it going to be somebody that's more of a casual consumer? So as you can see, the further away the expectations are from the reality that we offer defines the consumer that we're going to get. And over the rest of everything that we do is about getting those three things connected in a way that hopefully breaks down the miscommunication, the misunderstanding, clarifies the experience, and gets you the consumers that you want to know. Because if you're very clear about the experience that you offer, you are going to set accurate expectations with people, which will then give you super fans or casual consumers that are very on the edge of super fans, as well as giving them really good, I don't want to say meat or gristle, to go out and talk about your business in a much more effective way. So the more that we can talk about our experience and set those expectations properly, the more that we are going to cut down on our hardcore marketing and sales, because now we are just really kind of reinforcing and teaching our base consumers what to do, how to talk about us, how to sell us to other people. And the same thing goes with our networking partners, anybody that's in our networking group. Okay? All right. So download the attached workspace with this. There's some more information on expectations and setting expectations, our expectations and the consumer reality. There's a brain, I believe there's a brain blue sky challenge in there as my brain started to short circuit. And then if you are a super fan member of the community, I will see you over in the Subverting Expectations video, where we are going to talk about how exactly can we change expectations and replace them with, change or replace them with expectations that are more accurate and better sell us. All right, I'll see you there.